Matt Aguilar here from ComicBook.com. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with NXT superstar Tiffany Stratton. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Obviously a lot on the mind, I'm sure, and we've got a big event coming up in NXT Battleground, and that is where we're going to finally have the finals of the NXT Women's Championship tournament. The last time we spoke, Roxanne Perez was standing in the way of that. And then since then, you went ahead and you took her down, and now we're the last step of the way. And we've got Lyra Valkyria, obviously, that you'll be facing in the finals. Going back to the Perez match for just a second, what was the biggest takeaway from that match, and what stood out to you most about how that played out for you?
Well, Roxanne Perez was definitely one that I was nervous about. We went up against each other in the breakout tournament and she won. I was, just getting into wrestling back then. I was still a newbie. So this time around, I really felt like I was ready and it was my time. And I showed everyone. I showed everyone that, and I won. I beat her. And I feel like the biggest takeaway was she's a fighter. She is an underdog. I went for my finish and she rolled in and she got the upper hand on me. I was not expecting that. But she put up a good fight. But in the end, it was me that won.
Well, and it felt like too you were ready for that pop rocks, right? It
I
felt like you
was,
were,
yeah.
yeah, well scouted. And also, was that, you mentioned you guys had faced each other previously, but that was a much different. I mean, so much has changed in just a few years for you. So, did this feel like kind of a not really like a chip on your shoulder, but kind of like a something that, like, hey, I've arrived. Like, it's time to start respecting me. Was there a little bit of that in this win as well for you, or no?
Yeah, I would definitely say that I felt like I had to prove myself this past Tuesday, and I did just that.
Well, now moving into, Lyra obviously is a much different opponent, different skill set. How are you kind of approaching her? And, is there is there any, nerves, butterflies? This is obviously a huge stage, a huge moment for you. What are you feeling kind of going into this?
I'm definitely nervous. I'm always nervous. Even on, just NXT Tuesdays, I get nervous right before I go out. But I would definitely say that I'm one that rises to the occasion. And when there's a big crowd in front of me, I am going to perform and I'm going to, rise to the occasion. And I have no idea what Lyra's like in that situation. We've never ever locked up before. I don't think she's ever been on this big of a stage as well. I think the only time was at Sin and Deliver, and that was for me as well. But yeah, I have no idea what to expect against Lyra. I just know that I'm one that rises to the occasion, and she could be one that crumbles when it comes to pressure. I guess we'll find out this Sunday.
Well, yeah, the good news is we don't have to wait too much longer to actually see that matchup happen. And, you know, looking ahead, you come out as NXT Women's Champion. What does a Tiffany Stratton championship reign look like? We've seen kind of different approaches. We've seen the open challenge method of, like, come one, come all. We've seen champions be like a little bit more selective and, like, hey, you really got to run through some things before you can just get a title shot. How would you approach that?
I haven't really thought much about that. I always just think about what's in front of me, but I want to be a dominant champion. I want to give everyone, a shot. If they want a shot, let's go. I'll prove it to you in the ring. Yeah, that's my take. Let's anyone.
No, respected. And that makes for some of the best kind of unexpected matches as well, I feel like, so that's amazing. Shawn Michaels recently had some really complimentary things to say about you, and how the two people in the finals are really the two best representatives of NXT, not just the women's division, but of NXT, and especially you, the journey you've had over the last 2 years, how how much you've accomplished and proven yourself in the ring. And now one step closer to an NXT championship. What's it like to hear that kind of thing from someone as, you know, accomplished and renowned as Shawn Michaels? And, you know, what do those kind of things add pressure for you? How do you handle that?
I would definitely say it gives me confidence. It makes me feel like I'm on the right track. And, you know, if he's saying good things, if it's coming from Shawn Michaels, I must be doing something right. So it's definitely reassuring for me.
Well, and also, you know, the Sarah Amato has done so much
Mhm.
in NXT. What can you tell us about working with her and just kind of how she's helped along the way during your time in NXT?
One thing I love about Sarah Amato is she is very blunt. She is very black and white. She tells you like it is, and she tells you when you did a terrible job. She tells you when you did good. Like, one thing I feel like people don't do enough is tell you when things don't go well or things that, you know, looked terrible. And Sarah's not afraid to tell you that. And that is one thing that I feel like helps me a lot, and that's how she has helped me a lot.
Well, and of course, you know, with the NXT Women's Championship, kind of this crown prize at Battleground, and the tag titles recently kind of moving over to SmackDown, at least temporarily. Have you, at this point, with you about to become NXT Women's Champion, it, you know, might not matter for a while because you're going to be the top prize. But is it something you've ever thought about of wanting another title to be part of the women's division? You know, having another something akin to the North American title or something like that. That's just another type of prize to go with all the talent that's in the division. Has that ever been something you've wanted for the division, or do you not think about it much?
I think that would be awesome. I feel like we have so many women in NXT and so many awesome, great women. And I feel like it's hard when we're all going for the same thing, you know? And I feel like there can only be so many people going for, you know, the NXT Women's Championship. I think another title would be amazing. And, you know, I feel like even in the PC, we have so many girls that are coming up that are could be put on TV within the next year or so. And I feel like it would open up a lot of TV time for them.
Absolutely. Now I know obviously, and you mentioned before, you know, you're focused on Battleground. It's a big match, one of the biggest opportunities in your career. So I know you're focused on that. But, you know, I don't know. It feels like Hollywood and you are just like natural best friends. And with so many franchises and so much crossover now between the WWE and so many other television and movies and things like that, is there a franchise that you particularly love that you would always want to be a part of if that opportunity came along when you're not obviously defending titles in the ring?
Yeah, I would love to go to Hollywood one day. I think for me that's always been a dream of mine. But for right now, wrestling is my focus, and I really want to establish myself within wrestling. But one day, if the door opens, I will be going through that door.
Absolutely. Well, you know, all the best success. I cannot wait to see the match. Fans are excited. We can't. Number one, I feel like NXT fans really want to see a new women's champion and like get to really have a run. You know, just because of circumstances and injuries, it's felt like that hasn't been the case just because of things out of people's control. And so I think a lot of fans are excited to kind of see someone really get a longer reign. Is that something you kind of hope for as well?
Yeah, I want to have one of the longest reigns within NXT. I would love for that. Like I said, anybody can step up to the plate, and I'll accept. And hopefully, you know, when my reign is over, I get called up to Raw and SmackDown, and I challenge whoever is the champion on Raw or SmackDown.
Well, and question, when that happens, because we're just gonna put that in the universe, right? When that happens, will you be taking the title with you? Would you be like do a rematch of or do a match in NXT to have that title stay? Like, how would you approach that if when that day comes?
Oh, I haven't even thought that far. I'm just worried about this Sunday.
No, absolutely understand. So yeah, all the best success. I cannot wait to see what happens at Battleground, and fingers crossed. Can't wait to say Tiffany Stratton NXT Women's Champion. So thank you so much.
Thank you.